like a light, lighting up in the dark. You make it right, I forgot how to act. It's so classic. Every time you make me nervous and I lose my words. It's been a while since I forgot the most simple words.
Hello everyone. I think it's all working today. Yesterday was a bit of a nightmare to get going. So yeah, I think, as I say, I think everything's working. Cool. The music might be a bit loud, so I'll just turn that down. So yesterday I did this painting of the cat. I started yesterday was all about getting the block colour down. Today is literally all about, I'm going to start with the eyes, fill in the eyes, and then I'm going to do all the sort of focusing around the texture of the cat. Sorry, the music's still a bit loud, I think. Hope you had a good day. So as I say, today is going to be all about the sort of texture around the cat. So let's have a look at the eyes. So okay, they're quite small on your screen, but the eyes are actually really textured. They have a sort of tortoise shell effect inside, and it looks really quite cool. So I'm going to try and replicate that on a sort of micro level. The actual image, the painting of the cat is probably slightly bigger than life size, well, quite a lot bigger than life size, to be honest. So one of the things that you have to do is sort of expand what you can see and sort of make it bigger. So yeah, the eyes are quite powerfully sort of a lime green, I guess, but they're quite subtle in this cat. And I'll add that texture in if I can. I've also got the shape completely wrong on this eye, and this eye is better, but this eye is completely wrong. So I'll sort of draw the shape as it is on the picture, and then I may have to fill in using the sort of black or the Payne's grey paint. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with the sort of mixing up that green paint. I haven't really thought about how I'm going to do this, but there's definitely some yellow green in there, which is this paint here. It's probably a tiny bit of Payne's grey, definitely some white, and bit of grey as well, I guess. I'm probably going to start off quite bright and then moves to a darker colour. I'll do the pupils after I've done the background. As I say, there's a lot of texture in this eye, so we'll see what we can do. So let's have a look at what this colour looks like on the palette. That's not that dissimilar, it does need lightening up, and I'm going to lighten it up with a bit of grey. And then a little bit of white. Just going to gently mix it. I'll probably start off with a fairly large detail brush. This is a number 2. I might go with a number 1 actually, if I can see it. Where is it? That's a 0. Where's number 1? I'm going to use mostly detail brush today, just so I can get the textures in the right place. I'm going to mix the colour first, just sort of roughly. Lighten the green up. Put a bit of grey in there to soften the sort of colour. A bit more grey. It's a bit more white, I think. So in terms of the highlights, I'll do them last, so the cat won't really come alive on the painting until the highlights have been done. So, first of all, I'm going to try and trace the right shape of the eye because I got it wrong in the initial sketch. So the corner of the eye actually comes down a little bit like this. And then I'll bring it up like this. It's pretty much flat until the bottom of the pupil. Thanks, Froggy CZ. I appreciate the feedback. So what I'm going to do, as I say, I'm going to sort of paint in the block colour first of each eye, and then I'll go back to doing the detail of the eye. So the sort of texture, the tortoiseshell effect that's actually inside the eye. And I'll try and keep it subtle. There's a bit of black that I need to paint in there, or the sort of the fur, because I missed that out when I was doing this yesterday. Because I got the shape of the eye completely wrong. The great thing with painting, you can always go and just paint over it. You don't have to do any like erasing or anything. This is why I love acrylics, because they're really quite forgiving in that respect. Now, interestingly, in the photo, sorry, I've kept the photo on, but in the photo, you can see the bottom of the pupil is actually exactly the same colour as the fur. So I don't know whether I'll actually add a bit of a line in to sort of differentiate that. I'm going to have to go around the eye again in the dark colour just to make sure that the shape is correct. So I don't really mind too much if I make a mistake right now. So the other eye is fairly accurate shape, so I'm not too worried about that. As I say, I'll just go around the edges. Oops. Thanks, Tom. In my on my stream app, that emoji comes up as cat orange whistling, but in the actual YouTube app, it comes out as the actual emoji. It confused me a second there. I'm a bit old when it comes to emojis and stuff. I'm just measuring the length of the eyes, if they're the same length, which they are. See how I've managed to do it. I've made them a lot different lengths. I'm going to have to work out which one is the right size. I think that one needs to be slightly bigger and that one needs to be slightly smaller. So with any painting, whether it's a portrait or an animal, as long as the subject has eyes, they are the most important part of the painting by a long way. Because if you don't get the eyes right, you don't get the painting right, because people will naturally look at the eyes. So they do have to be fairly accurate. Right, so now I've done the sort of outside of the eyes, I'm just going to, the green bits of the eyes, I'm just going to attempt to do the pupils. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a much darker black than I've used anywhere else. So I'm just going to go with a lamp black. And the key thing to this is I'm definitely going to lighten it up later on. So one place I do tend to use proper black is the pupils of the eyes, because you can actually create a lovely contrast when you do it. I don't tend to use black anywhere else. And if I get it wrong the first time, I will keep going over and over the eyes just to make them perfect. There's one part of the painting that needs to be perfect, it is the eye. So there's a slightly interesting story about this cat, apparently. The cat's called Peggy. It's a rescue cat from, it's quite a few years ago. But it came to the owners and her name was Sue. They thought, well, can't really call the cat Sue because it has to end in like a EY sort of sound, like Peggy or Kitty or something like that. Now, so they couldn't keep it Sue, so they thought Peggy Sue. Since then, the cat's been called Peggy Sue. Sue's more like the name of somebody who would own a cat, who would own lots of cats. Not the cat itself, but that's what they thought anyway. So that looks a bit striking at the moment. There's no texture or highlights or detail in the eyes. I will go through obviously and add the details later in a sec. Just going to try and make this a little bit more rounded at the bottom, this pupil. The actual shape of this eye is a lot more down this way. So it currently looks very odd, but once I go around the outline again, I think it will look much better. So I'm now going to the sort of marbling effect detail, and I probably will end up using my finger for this. I might wait for the black to completely dry so I don't accidentally smudge it. So while I'm waiting for the black to dry, let's start adding texture around this ear. So there's definitely some browns in there. So I'm going to use a bit of burnt sienna. I'm going to get some Payne's grey on the palette, which is a very dark grey, sort of bluey grey. Definitely get a little bit of grey. And I'll do most of the mixing on the canvas and not on the on the canvas and not on the palette. Sorry, I'm a bit slow today. Long day. So I'm going to mix a bit of Payne's grey with a bit of burnt sienna. That should make a sort of lighter, well, a dark brown, but lighter than the Payne's grey. I'm going to start looking at all the detail around. I'll start at the top and work down. So I don't know how well you're going to see this, to be honest. So this is all about building up the layers of the cat, layers of the colour, and finally I'll go in with the sort of white at the end. I'm just adding some texture using the small brush here. All the way down the ear. The idea is hopefully by the end of, or hopefully by the time I move on from the ear, it will look pretty much complete how it's going to look. I don't know if you can see that on the stream very well, but I'm adding this sort of brown, light brown colour. Add a little bit of water to it. The owner actually told me it's a very, very dark brown colour. It's not necessarily a black. When you look closely, it's not necessarily all black. Just been told the music was quite quiet, so let me know how if that's quiet or not, or if that's a good level. Just been told that's a much better sound. So now I'm going to move up a little bit. I'm going to grab the grey, I'm going to mix it in with the brown, so make it a little bit lighter again. And this is going to be a new level. Getting very accurate strokes with this brush. Thanks, Froggy. Just got a follower. I really appreciate that. So I'm fairly new to YouTube and Twitch. I'm streaming on both at the moment. So yeah, thanks, I really appreciate that. I do mean to schedule streams, but my life in the last few weeks has been a bit hectic. So I will start scheduling streams. As of probably next week, I'll do sort of a Monday, Wednesday, Friday stream. So there'll be plenty of content going out so I can build the audience. If you want to have a look at my sort of existing videos, I've got a few shorts going on. Got some on YouTube as well. It's just Ollie the Artful on YouTube. Google that, you can see my shorts and my previous paintings. I don't know if you can see the detail I put in that ear. It looks alright in real life. I might need to do a bit of a lighter layer, but very, very sort of light touch. I'm just going to do a few brush strokes like this. I'll zoom in a sec just to show you what I've done with the ear. The thing is with the black cat, it's not black. There's actually, in the reference image, there's actually very little. There's actually very little black on the cat. It's all greys, it's all whites, there's a little bit of purple, there's blues. It's not just a black blob. And that's why I was a little bit worried. That's why I actually call the stream Nightmare, because you see the cat and it's just a black blob with two bright eyes, but that's not the case. There's a lot of texture, there's a lot of detail. It's a very pretty animal, but it's a lot of fine, rough detail as well. It's not really it's not like bright colours where you can hide in the bright colours. You really can't do that. It's a totally different style from what I did with if you saw the skateboarder I did last week. Totally different style. Where it was all about colour, it was all about movement, it was all about action. This is all about fine detail and making the sort of cat pop out from the background. So that's that ear done. While I'm doing that, I might as well just go and do the other ear, to be honest. Actually, that's not quite that ear done. Halfway down, there's a little sort of tuft of hair which sort of pokes out a little bit. Step back and have a look. Yeah, I think it looks alright. going to go in with some Payne's grey directly as well and go over the top with some fine detail again. This is what I love about acrylics. You can do this very quickly afterwards. If you did this with oils, it would take hours to dry. So, as I say, I'll move on to the other ear, seeing as I got the paint on here. The ears are a slightly different colour from the rest of the cat, I guess. So I'll really sort of focus on the ears first, and then I'll move on to the eyes. After I've nailed the eyes, I'll move on to the sort of white fur around the top of the head. And hopefully I'll at least get the whole face done today. I might get the body as well, but this is certainly the most challenging part of the painting. I've just noticed the shape is slightly wrong for the ear as well, which I will sort out. I don't tend to paint exactly what I see. So having the wrong shape isn't a big deal, but ears are quite a fundamental feature of the character of a painting, whether it's human or an animal. So getting that wrong is a bit fundamental, to be honest. I'm good. I'm good. I went to work. It was I went to the head office, which is a little bit further away from my office. Had a long meeting. I learned something today about myself. And I kind of knew it anyway, but I tend to judge people very quickly. I always have done. But somebody who I infinitely thought didn't get on with me, I've changed my mind. I probably judged them too quickly. And they were a lot more humble in certain aspects. Obviously I can't go into details, but there was something which I was expecting them to sort of push back and bite back about. And now they're a lot more humble. They were like, fair enough, put their hands up to something, which I wasn't expecting necessarily. I was more expecting a bit of a, oh, it's not my fault sort of thing, where they put their hands up and says, yeah, I was a bit naive, I'll learn from it next time. Yeah, I was quite pleased with my day, to be honest. Will we ever see freehand paintings? Potentially. Potentially the answer. I don't trust myself enough. I only started painting in April. I don't necessarily trust myself to go full freehand yet. I've never tried one. Well, currently, right now, I'm just trying to build a portfolio, really. Just trying to get a nice portfolio in so that we can I can showcase my work. The music stopped. So, yeah, potentially. I have done a little bit of freehand, actually, more abstract art. It's a bit like stencil work, but without stencil. I might bring it up and I might actually print out a version of that and put it there at some point. But yeah, what my thoughts were, actually, I'll do 3 normal streams during the week, so an evening stream. So 3 evening streams, so they're starting in the evening. That's 2 hours. This will be doing like this portraity stuff. And then as I get my following up, maybe I can get an interactive Saturday stream, for instance, where people start suggesting what we paint and then I'll experiment. It doesn't really matter if it's terrible, that sort of thing. But more interactive. That's where I want to end up in probably 6 to 12 months' time. But as I don't have much of a following yet, it's going to be very difficult for me to be motivated to paint freehand when I'm not really getting live feedback. I'd also like to try different mediums. One thing that absolutely terrifies me is watercolor. I've tried it once and it was a total disaster. Also, I'm not sure if you can stream very well with watercolor, given I like to stand up when I paint. I think watercolor would just run off. So I hope that answered, and it wasn't sitting on the fence too much. So now I'm just mixing the colour for the green. So, in the reference image for the cat, okay, my little remote control isn't working. Oh, there we go. If you try and focus in on the eyes, there's actually a couple of different greens. There's quite a dark green in there. So I'm just going to dab a tiny bit of this hooker's green onto the palette so I can grab a little bit if I need to. And I'll mix it with the lime green that I've also created, or the, yellow green. Needs water. And now I'm going to try and attempt the marble effect. I'll start on the left eye. I'm going to grab a little bit of the Payne's Grey. Let me change the soundtrack. I'm just going to sort of do a slight marble effect on the eye, just so there's texture. And I'm just going to do that a little bit just by dabbing down a darker colour. That's not even that dark. Let me add even more depth. And then I'm going to do my favourite thing to do when I'm painting, is use my finger to sort of dab out the, sort of make the colour a little bit more subtle. So I don't know if you can see the sort of marble effect on the screen very well. I think the best tool for painting is the finger, to be honest. Maybe I should try that as a challenge, freehand painting, literally freehand painting, and just paint everything using my fingers. Very messy, a lot of wasted paint. Probably make quite a good YouTube video though. YouTube short of me finger painting the whole way through the... I think already that eye looks a lot better without the sort of highlights, the reflection from the light. Just by adding that sort of marbling effect, I think it's really made a huge difference. So I'm just going to move on to the other eye now. Do the same. Bit of orange in that reflection in this eye. I might add that in later. So yeah, I've got that marbling in the eyes. And while I'm here, I might as well just do the highlights. So a lot of the pupil is not black, so I'm just going to paint over it and sort of get a bit of texture on the pupil. So I'm building up the layers as we go. How is everyone? Is everyone enjoying or got any suggestions? I'm now going to go in and try and sort of lighten up certain areas. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to darken certain areas first. So there's a shadow at the top of the left eye. And the right eye, actually. I'm going to draw that shadow in now. There's a sort of a like a wash. And then, once that's sort of dry, I'll then come in and add the highlight. Hopefully you can see this eye sort of coming to life slowly. What's the next painting going to be? I don't plan, really, if I'm honest. I don't know. Suggest something to me? There's a couple of potential commissions coming in, so might be one of them. I haven't really done a portrait on the channel yet, or since I started streaming, and that is what I would consider what I enjoy most, or the bread and butter. Of, well, it's kind of the reason why I started, I think, anyway. Do portraits. I do enjoy animals as well. The skateboarder I did, I felt that was a bit challenging and not necessarily me, as it were. But I'll still do more of them to challenge myself, I guess. I do think that's worthwhile doing. But yeah, I don't know is the answer. I would like to know. I would like to sort of create a schedule. But the thing is with painting, because I'm not that experienced yet, I don't know how long things take. It's quite difficult to schedule in advance. But yeah, I've got nothing particularly lined up. I'm sure something will come up. I've got a few paintings that I've kind of semi-promised people, so they'll come up eventually. So I do have things in the pipeline, but they're all like portraits. Don't really have any sort of animals, as it were. I kind of want stuff to take me out of my comfort zone. So yeah, if you've got any suggestions, let me know. And I'm painting the white just to... Hopefully this will sort of lighten up the eye completely and bring it to life. I'm using my finger to blend in the highlight. So yeah, you see how that white has just completely changed that eye. What about mountains? I don't know. Don't think I have that much. Landscapes. I've never got excited by landscapes. And there's so many people out there doing landscapes. Like, everyone does landscapes on YouTube. They do these fantastic landscapes, sort of get palette knives and make them beautiful, and it's really impressive, and they make amazing videos. But I'm probably about to be very hypocritical here because I've never done it. I don't think they're that challenging. They might be very challenging, I don't know. But the also, it doesn't inspire me. Like, I've had in my shed, I started a painting, probably my third or fourth ever painting, about 10 years ago. And it was of a windmill in Holland. And I just never finished it. I never got inspired by it. And I fear that if I start doing things like landscapes, it might de-inspire me again. I really like capturing the life of things, to the life of animals. Yeah, sceneries do have lives. You can see a life in a scenery, in a scene. with the trees and the sky and the clouds and everything like that. But to me, I think my bread and butter is the life of humans and animals. And I think I'm quite good at it, to be honest. But saying that, if I ever do the Saturday streams, I might try out those different art techniques that you see all on YouTube and TikTok and whatever, because they are pretty impressive. And maybe they are really difficult, I just don't know, but there seems to be an awful lot around them. But honestly, there's very, very few good quality animal paintings out there, or people, or portraits. There are some and they're absolutely fantastic, but there's not many people showing them. But maybe that's just purely a market thing. Maybe there's no real market for it. Just adding a bit of a very, very fine brown wash to the inside of this eye. I'll do it to the other one as well. So, let me know what you think of the eyes. I'll quickly zoom into it so you can see it closer in a sec. So I've embellished what I actually see in the picture with the eyes a bit, just to make them feel a little bit more alive. Like, for instance, there is no dot on this eye, but I'm going to add one just here. There's one on the other eye. So that's what I was talking about, the marble effect in the eyes. So you can see the sort of different colours. It's not a single colour like I had before. So I've really tried to capture the sort of colours of the eyes. Okay, the outside needs a bit more work. They need to be the right shape. The actual colour and the character of the eyes, I think, are coming through with those two white dots and the sort of highlights of what's going on around them. They look quite glassy because I've used that white highlight. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go through and just sort of do the eyeliner, go around the eyes and make sure they're the correct shape. So, let me just change a setting. So now I'm going to go back to using the Payne's grey around the eyes and really, really focus on the shape. I think the shape of this eye is going to be absolutely key to the success of this painting. So I'm going to take a raw Payne's grey and I'll soften it up later if I need to. But really focus on the shape of the eye. So this bottom goes up like this, so I'm going to do that. And then it comes down like this. There's a couple of highlights there that I need to add, but I'll do that later. I'm really adding the shape of the eye here. So that's the left eye done, or the right eye. The left eye as we look at it, the right eye on the cat. And then I'll do the other eye. I think that's pretty accurate to the shape, to be honest. And I'm obviously going to add the highlights where they're required. Highlight just on the inside here. And then it comes down like this. So the thing is, when you're painting black, like black fur, what I do is I really accentuate the highlights. Just so it looks like the light's capturing it. Actually, this is a great texture. This is a total accident, because the brush is separated. You create some really nice highlights, look like they're on the fur. I might have to use that technique, use this brush, because most of the time I wouldn't want that to happen, but it's happened really quite nicely though. So that's beautiful. I'll go back to the other eye. Cool. I think those little highlights I just did around the eyes have really brought them out as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just sort of start adding texture all over the cat. Mostly with white and grey paints. Just to show the highlights of the cat, I guess. So I'll probably just mix it with just a sort of very loose white, what I'm doing now. As in it's diluted quite a lot. And then I'll add a bit of Payne's Grey as well to sort of add a bit more texture. You can see there's a lot of fluff, sort of like white hairs coming out of the cat now here. And I'm hardly even touching the paint, I'm hardly putting any paint on, but you can see what's happening. Stepping back and having a look. So I don't think I'll stream tomorrow. I need to release the skateboarding video and I haven't edited it. So I'll edit it tomorrow evening. And then I'll release it on Saturday morning, I think. Then I'll stream again on Sunday, sorry. I'm busy Saturday. So Sunday in the sort of afternoon, evening. As I say, I need to try and sort out a regular schedule so my regular viewers know when I'm actually going to stream. I'm quite tired today, so that's why I'm not. I'm not talking like I usually do. So I'm going to concentrate on finishing the face today. So all over the face where there's like these sort of white wisps, just going to go all the way around the face and make sure there's that texture there. The very last thing I'll do on the cat, by the way, is the whiskers, and I'll do that after I've done the background. So that I've just definitely done a whisker there. I'm going to leave the nose on the face till very last. Too much on my brush now.
In the quiet of the morning, as the sun begins to rise, I can feel your arms around me. And your spirit fill the skies. In every breath of mercy, everyone that I don't deserve.
This is probably a bit of a boring painting. The way I'm sort of adding the texture this way, it's very slow progress. Do the other cheek now, and then I'll work down the middle.
Through the valleys and the shadows, where my path is overgrown, you're a light within the darkness, and you're guiding me back home. I know I'll never be alone. In every breath of mercy,
Just notice I've actually got the nose a pretty different colour from what it is. So I have to put a lot of sort of dark on the nose when I come around to doing it. Sort of the bridge of the nose, not the underneath.
escape your love.
Let's have a look at what that looks like. It looks alright. I'll focus on the nose. So this is going to be mostly Payne's grey. It's really detailed. So I'm going to start off with the proper shape. So the shape actually does that a little bit. And on this side, it's more sort of jaggedy. A bit of a step there. It's more stunted than what I've drawn, so that needs to come down like that. Right. I'm just going to draw the underneath of the shape of the nose. So it comes around like this, comes down like that, actually goes up a little bit like that. Does a similar sort of thing the other side. Comes around like this. A little break and then comes down. Need to make sure this is in the center. I'm just dabbing a few. I need to blend it in up here, otherwise it looks a bit weird at the moment. Just blending it in with my finger here. That looks a bit less weird. There's quite a lot of texture on the bridge of the nose. I need to come in with white later on and show the texture even better. I'm just going to put the black spots or the Payne's grey spots at the moment on the bridge of the nose. Which is better, cats or dogs? Ooh, to paint, I think it's probably... I don't know, actually. I did an awesome painting, in my opinion, of a Maine Coon. Which will be in the gallery somewhere. But I also enjoy dogs to paint. In terms of personality, I'm not that much of an animal person, so I can't really say either. I did have a dog for a little while, but it was very brief. and I enjoyed it. Never had a cat, but I do enjoy when cats feel like they want to be affectionate. I do enjoy that. So that's my sitonthefence.com answer. I don't really have a preference, but I don't dislike either, and I'm not that much of an animal person. So the floods of viewers that the floods of viewers on I just left because I didn't say it was cats or I didn't say it was dogs. So I thought I was going to actually finish the whole cat today. I'm not going to. I'm just going to probably get most of the face done. Just adding some texture around the nose. I think I'll have to come back to the nose, to be honest, because I don't think I've done it that much justice. Softening up the edges now. I mean, from a distance, I'm sure it looks okay. So that's the first cat I ever painted there. That's the Maine Coon. That one is my second portrait I ever did. Best friend in Kenya. So that portrait was the thing that probably reaffirmed me into thinking that I really wanted to try out the art thing. That's the first portrait I did of my grandmother. Those were the first two kids I ever painted and the only kids I've ever painted. I thought I brought out their expressions really well in that. Really like that painting. And this is my friend and his dog. That's the first dog I ever painted, that one. I love how I sort of brought the texture in around the just the fur, the texture. And that's the second dog I painted. So yeah, I hope you can see the sort of face is coming to life a little bit now. Still needs a lot of work. One of the things I'm not afraid of is putting white down. I think white, because you don't know what the actual lighting looks like in the photo. It's very obvious this is a black cat. I think this whole area needs some sort of softening. I don't know what's going on there. But I think it's very... I think putting a lot of white on the black cat is really quite... telling that actually when you're doing a painting, even though you're painting something black, you very rarely use black, and it's not like a black painting. I'm just softening the edges here. I'll have to go over with the white again. I don't know, it was just a bit, those edges were just a bit rough. Sorry, a bit hard. And I'll start doing things like adding texture with the darker colour on top of the white again. Just to add depth rather than just have white strands. Make sure there's depth in the sort of fur. So it's not just white highlights, it's sort of shadows as well. I'm just adding some sort of fur around the edges just to make it look as though a little bit more. It's not quite as sort of like, what's the word? Hard in the edges. There's a bit of fur. So I still think this is really quite a challenge, this painting for me. It's definitely outside my comfort zone. I'm not necessarily, I'm all about colour, and this is not really about colour, it's about using texture to determine what's going on in the cat. So I'm having to use highlights, the greys, the blacks, a bit of purple here and there, a bit of brown, but not really colours as I would usually use to really sort of capture the cat. So it is out of my comfort zone, but saying that, I do think it's going quite well. So far anyway. I'm now using a watered down black to sort of add a bit more texture where I put the white in before. Now white naturally sits forward of the black. So even though I'm painting black over the top, the white should look like it's on top of the black. So it doesn't really matter what order I'm painting in at the moment. I do prefer painting the black first so the white sort of sits in front naturally. Paint's currently a bit more of a water colour consistency, I guess. Just adding shadows to where the highlights are. Because whereas if there's a really light part of the painting, the chances are it's been reflecting off that. Potentially, I could paint that dog. Add a comment, and can you email me at ollietheartful@proton.me and we can discuss how we can go ahead and do it. Thanks, Jasmine. Or Yasmin. So Yasmin, if you email me, as I say, Ollie the Artful, just my channel name, at proton.me. Links in my contacts page as well. Or send me a message on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram and send me a message. It's Ollie the Artful as well. There you go. If anyone's watching and you're not subscribed, I hate doing this, but please do. I hate the whole like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon. It really does help. But I hate telling people that. That's all you ever hear on YouTube these days. And I never in my life thought I'd actually say that. A little bit embarrassing. It's amazing how one subscriber from anyone just boosts everything in the channel. You can see it straight away. As soon as you get a subscriber, you get a lot more views. And it's not just from that subscriber. And as I'm growing, and I've only got 60 or 70 subscribers, and I think it's almost 70 now. Every single subscriber really, really makes a huge difference. And as I really want to make this channel really valuable for lots of people, they learn how to paint, they can interact with what I'm doing. The number of subscribers is a really important thing. I don't ever want to have adverts running in the middle of my streams or in the middle of my videos. That's something I will try and avoid as much as I can, because ultimately my art is there for people to enjoy. But if you suddenly have an advert for insert VPN name here, kind of distracts from the whole mindfulness of the experience that I'm trying to produce. So as I say, yeah, I'll try and keep everything completely ad-free. I will need to somehow make a living from my art. Make money from it, not necessarily a living. At least to cover my costs. Subscriptions and everything is really, really important. So I think that's the face pretty much done. As always, I'll step back, have a bit of a look, try and work out what's going on, make sure it's all pretty nice and kosher. I've noticed there's a lot of fluff on this side of the animal, this side of the cat. I'm just going to draw that in. I did say I was going to finish at sort of 9:30, so I'll do another sort of 5-10 minutes. I'll soften up this edge here. And just see. Have a step back and then I'll carry on streaming probably on Sunday. I'm not able to do, well, I am. Tomorrow I need to do editing of a video. Friday I'm not around. Saturday I'm busy, and then Sunday I should be free, so I'll do some streaming then. It might be a little bit of a longer one. Hi, Stephen. So I've just been asked if the size makes a difference. This is A2 size. Thanks, Joe, as well. I missed that comment. So having a wall mural, there's challenges on each. So with something this size that I'm doing, people will tend to look a lot closer to be able to see mistakes a lot easier if there are mistakes. I think in terms of painting, it will be quite difficult to keep your bearings on a big mural. However, it might be a little bit more stencilized. I don't know if it's a realistic looking cat or whether it's a sort of a smaller one. Sort of not a smaller one, sort of a more stylized. I don't know, it'll be a challenge anyway, doing something that size. The thing is, if you're painting it, every single step you're going to have to step a long way back to see what it looks like. Because honestly, when I'm this close to the painting, it looks a bit naff. But as soon as I step back or look at the screen, the cat looks really amazing. Art is needed from a distance. So if you're painting something huge, you have to step back further. And I think that's a challenge, to remember to keep looking back and not be focused on such a small point. I think, I hope I answered that. But ultimately, I'm comfortable with A2 size. This is A2. The large stuff I've never tried. Will I try in the future? Of course I will. And hopefully I'll be able to film it. I also think, because of my style of painting is more, it's definitely with brush strokes. Painting something huge, you're going to either use a massive brush or you're going to use spray paints. I don't know how to use spray paints. I'm sure I'd be able to manage. But it will be a challenge. So yeah, I don't know is the answer. Sorry, that was sitting on the fence again. It's definitely a challenge I'd like to find out and see what I'd like. But The thing is, you couldn't do the same technique. I couldn't use like small brushes and detail. If I did, it would take A, forever, and B, there's no point because no one will get this close to it. Yeah, Stephen, yeah. Be interesting to find out. I'm going to Kenya soon, so maybe I'll get an opportunity there. I'll find a big blank wall or a big metal container that needs a painting on. Buy some paints, film it on YouTube. That would be quite a good stream. On a Saturday, just stream me painting a building and see how it works. I could probably get away with that in Kenya. I wouldn't be able to get away with that in UK. Sort out the shape of the ear here. Slightly different from... Send me a picture if you can of the mural, the wall mural. Be interesting to see what it looks like. I've seen obviously wall murals, but they bought me graffiti style. They've not been like necessarily of an animal. They quite often do like safari type animals in Africa for tourists, as wall murals, that is. But it's not necessarily... I always think they look a bit... Some of them can look very good, a lot of them aren't that good. So it depends on the artist, I guess. Thanks, I'll take a look at that. I'll see if I can share that on the stream after I've done this little bit of a... Anyway, I think that's pretty much what I'm going to do today, done in terms of painting. I'll obviously come back to it tomorrow. So tomorrow will be about the body. I thought I'd get the body done today, but I've been focusing on the eyes and the nose. The nose needs a bit more refinement. I don't think it's sticking out as well as it should do. The top of the head is too flat, so I need to ruffle that up a bit. But generally speaking, I think it looks pretty good what I've done today. I'll just zoom in to show you exactly what I've done today. So there you go. So you can see the eyes, they look very glassy the way I painted them. Just make sure that's in focus for you. And now I'm going to see if I can be very clever. Somehow show you if I copy this. So that's a reference image. Let me go back here. So what I'm trying to do now is show you that location Steve has just put in the chat. Just put that down there. Oh, it's not letting me change it. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly add a source. Window capture. That'll do. I'll probably do this for the reference image going forward because Steve, I don't see a cat. I got the things right. Oh, there's a pets. Might be there. Fortunately, I can't see it. That's the place. Am I just being a bit silly? Here. Ah, there we go. So that's spray painted. That's something I've certainly never done before. Oh, that's pretty impressive though. I've never seen a spray painting that's like realistic and like cute. They've done a really good job there. That's really cool. Could I do that? I don't know. I've never tried. If my spray paint is anything like trying to use Google Maps and getting a street view, then no, I won't be able to do it. It'd be cool trying and seeing what it's like. But that is quite awesome, that. We don't get anything like that down south. Tell you what, I'll definitely go to that vet clinic if that was on the side of the building. Yeah, so maybe I'll do that in the future. Maybe I'll stream doing something on a building as a little sort of play. It'll have to be in Kenya though. That'd be cool. Good idea. Set up my camera one Saturday and just stream from there, the outside. So that, yeah. I don't know, opening my eyes there. I mean, that's a very experienced sort of spray artist or graffiti artist doing that. It does look stunning, that. He hasn't used that many colours though. I can't work out if the light brown or the orange is actually the brick colour or whether it's been painted. I think it's just the brick colour. So he's only used 3 colours as far as I can tell. The white, sort of black or the brown, possibly the yellow for the whiskers. It's really impressive. That's awesome. Interesting how he did the sketch, or how he did the outline, or whether it was just judged. Maybe projected it somehow. But no, that's really cool. Really impressed with that. Thanks for showing me that. Anyway, that is going to be the end of my stream. I'll go back to the this, so you can see what I've done today. So that's the cat. It's so I did basically just focused on the head. It's quite a lot darker on the screen by the look of it. Let me just lighten the camera up a little bit. That's probably more accurate to what it is before. I have zoomed in so you can see all the rough bits around the edges. As I say, art this tends to be enjoyed from a distance, so. Awesome. So thanks very much for today. Great interaction. As I say, I'll probably stream on Sunday afternoon/evening. I'll put it in the diary now so everyone knows where it is. And yeah, thanks very much. I really appreciate you staying to watch. And hopefully, probably another 2 streams, one to do this and then another one for all the texture of the backgrounds. Another 2 streams to finish this entire project. So yeah, thanks very much. And I'll see you all at the weekend if you're available. Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate that. You take care too.